So there's a lot going on with the Britney Spears situation. I spoke about it last year when the Free Britney movement was really kicking off, and when the conservatorship ended, I was absolutely thrilled for her, and I still am. I just think the whole conservatorship situation was beyond a joke. It was just ridiculous what she was going through. I personally don't think she ever qualified for the conservatorship. It was just so badly blown out of proportion, the situation that she was in, and they used the most extreme measure to control her. And it wasn't about looking after her or doing best for her, because ultimately the thing that was almost tearing her apart at the time was this severe pressure that she had on her from the media and the paparazzi and everything else. And when she was put into the conservatorship, they just threw her back into that limelight, that same limelight that apparently she needed saving from. It just didn't make sense. So I've been following Britney on Instagram, everything that she's been posting, following her on Twitter, because there's been a couple of instances, or more than a couple of instances now, where she's um, deactivated her Instagram and kind of moved over to Twitter and then gone back to Instagram a bit. So I've been following what she's been up to. I've been following the case because it is still ongoing. There's still lots of unresolved issues to do with the conservatorship. She still wants to sue her family. She's still working on getting justice, and it's not going to be a quick turnaround. I know lots of fans have been like, why are they not in jail yet? Why does she not have justice yet? I feel like something this complex, it's going to take a while to build the case. And they're not just going to want to send people away or make people pay for one particular crime that they happen to know of right now. They want to get them for all of the crimes that have been committed. And that's going to take a bit of time, especially when her dad and whoever else isn't cooperating. So she's still living in this trauma. She's trying to overcome the trauma that she's been through, but she's still actively dealing with this trauma too. Like, they're still bullying her, they are still treating her with disrespect. Her dad is still fighting her in the court and just being a bit of an arsehole, or massive arsehole for that matter. So she's still dealing with it. Her sister went on that stupid book tour at the end of last year. Kevin Federline has done his stupid interview with, and he's involved the kids, which was completely unnecessary. And she's just not getting a break. They just won't leave her the fuck alone. And I don't understand why. Like, yeah, sure, you're not going to get money off of her estate anymore and you have to work. Boo hoo. You should have been doing that all along. Like, you're adults. You should be working. You should be providing for yourself and your families. And you shouldn't have been relying on Britney at all. So, yeah, I get they're upset by that. But surely the things that have happened to her and the extremity of what's happened to her and the level of bullying that has happened to her and the things that she's alleging have happened to her, surely that would make you think, okay, this is a bit more serious than me just cashing in. I just don't understand why they are doing that. Um, Look, I'm not going to go into kind of the detail of the conservatorship now, because I feel like quite a lot of time has passed and everyone has similar viewpoints of that. I think it's fair to say everyone agrees that the conservatorship was extremely extreme and just not necessary for what she was going through, and was a system that was abused in this case, is what it looks like. And I agree with that viewpoint. I believe that the conservatorship system, process, whatever you want to call it, was abused to simply control her and gain access to her money. I want to get into her most recent Instagram posts. The ones to do with her children, it's just so painful to hear her and read the comments that she's putting up online. It's painful to hear that the boys have chosen not to see her. I'd like to know how they reached that conclusion. Did they reach that decision all by themselves, or were they given a little nudge to reach that conclusion? What did Kevin Federline and his wife do to encourage the boys not to make that decision? Like, imagine when you were 15, 14, 15 years old. You're really pushing the boundaries at that stage. You're a teenager. You're pushing your boundaries, and your parents are there to stop you at a certain point. Imagine every single time one of our parents said to us, no, you can't do that, or this, that, and the other. And you thought, oh, I wish I could just run away. I wish I just didn't have to deal with you. Imagine if you got that. Like, it seems to be the case that the boys have just decided, oh, we don't want to see her. And Kevin just went, okay, yeah, sure. And it doesn't make any sense given what she's been through. Like, can the boys not comprehend what Britney has been through? Do they not understand the severity of what she has been through to know that ditching her at this point is not a good thing to do? And did Kevin sit them down and say, boys, like, I know you have some feelings, but listen, here's what's happened, and I don't think leaving her at this point is a good idea. Let's find a way where you can stay in her life, she can stay in your life, and we do it in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Surely that's what a good father would do. He's out there claiming he just wants to do the best thing for the boys. He just wants to do the best thing for everyone. He doesn't know anything about the conservatorship, blah, 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 blah. But then surely you should have mediated that situation a bit better, rather than just simply letting them not see their mother for so long and being able to cut her off and having them do interviews talking about her. Because when Jaden did that interview, I don't think he actually truly understands what he was saying. Like, he and his brother right now, in this moment of time, have a restraining order against their granddad, Brittany's dad, because he allegedly got physical with one of them. But yet somehow he's a good guy and they miss him. That doesn't make sense, given that you've literally cut Britney out of your life because apparently you're embarrassed by her Instagram post. Being embarrassed by her Instagram post is nothing compared to someone physically laying hands on you. But somehow you miss the person who laid hands on you and you have a restraining order against, but you don't want to see or hear from the person who is simply posting on Instagram. It doesn't make sense. I wonder who's been coaching him. I wonder how they've reached these decisions, and I wonder how or if even Kevin has tried to mediate this, because to me it doesn't sound like he has. So it's heartbreaking to see Britney having to respond over Instagram. I feel like people have given her a bit of a hard time over that, but what else is she supposed to do? I feel like her entire career, there's always been one person or another bashing her in one way, form, or another, and she's always held her tongue. She's always, been the bigger person, kept her composure. And I feel like she's past that at this moment in her life. After everything that she's been through, she is past being the bigger person, keeping her mouth shut. I think this new Britney, where she just says everything she thinks, I think that's great. I love that for her. It's a shame that it needs to include her children, but she's not the one doing this to her children. Kevin did it to the kids, and she's simply responding. I think sometimes the way that she expresses herself, her verbiage, doesn't always get through the way that it's maybe intended to. Maybe sometimes it comes across a bit harsh, or maybe because she has a bigger audience, it kind of feels much more magnitude when it comes from her versus when it comes from Kevin, who doesn't have an audience and the children don't have an audience. But that doesn't make it any better for them to be doing and for her not to be able to. I think it's only fair that she's able to voice how she's feeling, especially when she's been silenced for so long during the conservatorship. My heart just breaks for her. And I hope as the boys get older and they do their own research, and as this case in the courts, and it hopefully will end up in a trial that Britney then wins and she gets justice, and hopefully as more and more things come out about what was done to her and people pay the price for that and she gets her justice, hopefully the boys will be able to reflect and think to themselves, actually, I didn't know that this had happened. Or they've got so many people probably pulling them in this direction and that direction. It's probably hard for them to comprehend just how severe this is. But as they get older and as they kind of develop their own minds and their own thinking, and gain even more knowledge, which I'm sure we all will as this case continues, and when Britney releases her book, and when I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I really hope she gets justice. And when things really do come out into the open, I hope that the boys will be able to sit back and reflect and go, holy crap, we didn't know this. We need to reach out to mum and make some sort of amends with her. I just worry for Jaden because I just think that when that day comes, he's going to have a really bad day because the interviews that he has done, they're on the internet forever now. There's no deleting it. There's no getting away from it. It's been done. And when realization dawns upon him, he's going to have a really bad day. And with a bit of luck, he's not going to blame Britney because Britney's not the one that did this to him. It was Kevin. Kevin was the one who gave the green light to do the interview. He okayed it. He put it out there. He put that video out there that the boys had secretly recorded without her permission, without her knowledge, it seems. Kevin is the one doing this to them. But at the same time, acting like he just wants to live a normal life. He just wants the boys to live a normal life. If he wanted them to live a normal life, you wouldn't throw them out to the wolves like this, because actually no one was talking about Kevin. No one was talking about the boys. It didn't need to be aired publicly like that. He's the one that decided to do it. But at the same time, is trying to set this narrative that he just wants to be normal. That's bullshit. The most recent Instagram post that Britney uploaded, which I think has sent a huge rumble across the Britney Army fan base and Christina Aguilera's fighters, is this post from today where it looks like she's potentially fat shaming Christina and all her dancers. I have to admit, when I first read it, my initial instinct was, oh my God, Britney, what have you done? Like, she shouldn't have posted that. I've reread it a couple of times and I still don't think she should have posted it. I don't think it was called for. But again, I think the message that she was trying to portray, she just hasn't done a very good job in giving that message out there. I don't think she was intentionally trying to fat shame Christina or the dancers. I think what she was saying, I think the point that she was trying to make was, in the conservatorship, she was constantly, so Britney was constantly being body shamed by her team, and they would actively do things like put her on stage with smaller dancers to make her look big so that they can fat shame her. They were actively doing things to make her look terrible so they could shame her behind the scenes, so they could bully her behind the scenes, so they can belittle her. And I think that's the point that Britney was trying to make. If she could pick her own dancers, she would be able to look good as well, because she would have people that look like her, that people that kind of she fits into. Like, you know, when you watch shows like X Factor or Pop Idol, when they're trying to put a band together, they're trying to create a band, and they always look at kind of their physique and their heights as well as their voices, do they look good together as a band? Because if they're all different shapes and sizes, it's an odd mix and it doesn't look good. And I think that's kind of what Britney was trying to portray. They weren't putting me on stage with people that we all look the same and we all look good together. She was put on stage with people deliberately who would make her look bad, and in this case make her look big. Because Britney's been body shamed basically her entire career. She's been slut shamed, she's been virginity shamed, she's been everything shamed all throughout her career. But to have a team of people around you, which includes your own family members, who are actively trying to make you look bad on the world's platform where she will be scrutinized by the media, I think she's had a tough time of that. And I think she was trying to get that off her chest. I just don't think she did a very good job portraying what she was trying to say. I don't know. There's a lot of people who are saying that she was fat shaming. Although, I don't know, I mean, the image that went with it was something along the lines of, if you want to look thin, surround yourself with fat people, something like that. I just don't, I don't know. I don't think she portrayed the message very well. And regardless of whether she did portray it well or not, it's maybe one that she shouldn't have posted. I think this is the only post that she's posted where I've been like, oh, I don't know if I can justify this. As a Britney fan, I love Britney. I love Christina. I think they are both incredible artists. Britney shouldn't have posted this, I believe. But Christina has also said things about Britney in the past. And some might say things that are even worse than what Britney posted today. So it's kind of difficult to balance it out because I'm not Britney. I can't get into her head. I don't know how she's feeling or what she's going through. She's also got all of this built up anger from even before the conservatorship, where people like Christina were talking shit about her and she couldn't say anything or she wouldn't say anything or whatever it was. For whatever reason, she's not a confrontational person. She doesn't pick fights. She doesn't. I think what she's done is she's just built up all of this anger and it's all coming out now because for the first time in her life, she does not give a shit about what people think. She does not care about her image. She just doesn't care. Like, she's not fully PR'd right now. She doesn't have well, maybe she does, I don't know, but she doesn't have somebody fully vetting her social media post or posting for her. These posts look like they're coming directly from her and they're not polished, which is what we're used to seeing on Instagram. Like, Christina Aguilera's Instagram is pretty much insta perfect. Perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect shots, perfectly edited, like to perfection. But what are the chances that she's doing all of that? Does she put on her own makeup? Is she doing her own hair? Are those images touched up? Yes, they probably are. Is she the one typing the messages? Is she the one hitting the send button? Or do lots of other people do that for her and she just looks at it and goes, yes, approved, and off it goes? And that's not me bashing Christina, because I think everyone on Instagram does that, like celebrity level does that, most of them anyway. And Britney is kind of at the moment one of very few people who isn't she doesn't have this huge team of people around her who are polishing her up to be the most perfect celebrity and presenting this perfect celebrity out to the world. She's actually very, very real on Instagram right now, I feel like. And I actually quite like it. I like how unapologetic she is. I don't need to agree with everything she posts. I love her. I've always been a fan of her. I still love her right now in this moment in time. I don't need to agree with all of her posts. You don't need to agree with all of her posts. Christina Aguilera doesn't need to agree with all of her posts. The same way we don't need to agree with all of Christina's posts, all of the Kardashians' posts, all of Jennifer Lopez's posts, all of, I don't know, any of their posts. You don't have to follow someone and agree with every single thing that they post. So today, Britney has posted something that I don't necessarily agree with, even though I'm open enough to think this wasn't Britney just waking up one day and thinking to herself, right, I'm going to fat shame someone. Who is it going to be? Ah, Christina. Bash, 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 send. I don't think that's what she did. I think there's just so many thoughts going on in her head. There's so much she's dealing with. There's so many complicated factors here that none of us will ever, ever, ever understand, that she is going through, that she's just almost brain farting everything out. There's so much happening with her. She's going through such a healing process where, and that must be so confusing. It must be like, I can't even put it into words how she must be feeling, because I can't comprehend what that is. I can't comprehend what she's gone through. She, at least twice, I'm sure, has said, you guys don't even know the half of it yet. But it's like, bloody hell, the things that we do know are bad enough. Like, how much more has gone on here? It's scary to think what else there could possibly be in addition to what has already been shared. I'm sure there's still so much that has not been uncovered, that she has not shared. Maybe that she's saving for the book. I, for one, cannot wait for Britney's book to come out. I just think it's going to be sensational. I think she's got one of the most valuable stories to tell in Hollywood. I think her book is going to be absolutely insane in the sense of the things that she has been put through. I think it's mind-boggling that she's even still with us today. I think she's incredible. I think the strength that she has shown to get through what she has been through and come out to the other end and still have all of this shit going on and all of this just constant scrutiny about everything that she does. And I think people just kind of think, oh, she's behaving like this, she's behaving like that, she's crazy, put her back in the conservatorship. No, just because she's doing things that you don't like or you don't approve of does not mean she belongs in a conservatorship, does not mean she ever belonged in a conservatorship, because that conservatorship is a very, very, very extreme measure to deal with what she was going through and what she is going through. She doesn't qualify for a conservatorship. She doesn't need a conservatorship. What she needs is space to heal. What she needs is the allowance to make mistakes. Why is everybody allowed to make mistakes but Britney Spears isn't? It's so bizarre. So bizarre. And that's kind of why I kind of titter on the edge with like this Instagram post from today with Christina Aguilera. It's kind of like, so what if I don't agree with it? Does that mean it's wrong? Is she not allowed to have an opinion? Is she not allowed to feel things? If everyone else can body shame her, why can't she jump on that bandwagon and go, well, you guys are body shaming me, but look at what they did to me. They set me up to body shame me. Like, why can't she say these things? So this is kind of why I almost give her a bit of leverage there. Like, Justin Timberlake spent years slut shaming her. No one says anything. He gave this pissy ass apology last year and everyone seems to have forgotten about it. Oh well, time's moved on. And that was years and years and years. And let's not forget, Christina Aguilera also went on stage with him and helped him slut shame Britney with the blow up doll. But people have forgotten about that. Oh, it was 20 years ago. You're like, old news, old news. Yeah, well, in 20 years' time, let's talk about today's post. Old news, old news, old news, right? I for one love this unapologetic Britney. It doesn't matter if I agree with everything she does. I think ultimately what she's doing is a great big fuck you to everyone who was trying to control her, to everyone who has ever tried to belittle her in any way, shape, or form. What she's doing is sending a very, very clear message. Don't do it because I will clap back. Don't do it because I'm not biting my tongue. Don't do this to me because I will end you on Instagram and I have no shits left to give. She's been through the worst of it. She's not biting her tongue over anything. The poor woman believes that she was nearly killed, or that she was meant to be dead, or she was sent off to that facility to be killed by her own family. That's the ultimate betrayal. She has no shits to give. And I kind of love that for her. I love that for her. I don't think people will speak her name in vain, willy-nilly, the way that they used to anymore, because Britney's gonna fire back if she's not happy. And I think what she is currently doing on Instagram is sending a very clear message. Don't mess with me, because if you anger me, I'm gonna call you out. I don't care. I have a huge following. Everything I do is magnified to the extreme. So if you upset me, I'm going to make it known. I don't think that's a bad message for her to be sending. Everything she's gone through, I don't think that's a bad message for her to be sending. And yeah, she's maybe being a little bit impulsive right now, but let her make those mistakes. This is the first time in her life at 40 where she's got true freedom. Let her make those mistakes. Let her learn from them. Let her grow as a person. Let her do all these things that we take for granted that develop us into the people that we become tomorrow and next year and the next decade and so on. She hasn't had that ability. Let her do that and let her do it in one piece. And if you don't like it, just don't follow her. It's as simple as that. But right now, I am living for Britney. I really hope she gets the justice that she deserves. I hope everyone who has ever done her wrong is put in their place firmly, once and for all. And I hope she just lives her best life. As long as she's doing things that she wants to do, it doesn't matter if we agree with the things that she does or don't agree with the things that she does. It doesn't matter what we think. The only thing that matters is that Britney Spears is able to make her own decisions. Some of those decisions may be great decisions. Some of those decisions may be not so great decisions. It doesn't matter. She's her own human being. She has autonomy over her own body. She can pick the career that she wants. She can work when she wants. She can sit back when she wants. She can have another baby if she wants. She can choose not to have another baby if she wants. The most important thing here is that she gets to decide. And that's what this whole thing was about. Giving her back the ability to make her own decisions the way the rest of us do. I love her and I'm living for it. Queen Britney. More power to Queen Britney. That's all I have to say.